That shit is
Gotta
crazy, yo.
get my quick team up.
Quicktum.
Quickdom.
The Quicktum.
Quickdom.
Quictum. Sounds medical.
It does.
It
If you
really
suffer
does.
from quickdom, please consult with your doctor.
We had to do a
For
Quicktum
failed
procedure on him.
recordings.
Quictum. A
Quickdom.
quictum removal.
A quickdom removal. Yes.
Quictumectomy.
hmm
That shit out of there.
Does that then mean you have slow time only?
Slowed him.
Yeah, slowed him. Your balance is gone, but it's not quick, so you're doing better.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I don't either.
Maybe it's sexually related. Like,
Probably.
suffering from Quicktum, wife
I feel like-
unsatisfied,
Yep. I feel like half our diseases are.
some slowdom. Calm things down in there.
That's right.
Hello and welcome back to RTFB. This is Travis, and today Chris, and I are covering the second section of Kindred by Octavia Butler, which started at the fight and ended when the book was over for those reading along. Again, this episode is running long, so super quick notes. Heads up that this section, again, and maybe even more so than the first, discusses topics of rape, violence, and racism, so take whatever precautions you need. Favorite listeners, your code word for this season is ballpoint miracle. If you know, you know. Alright, let's get back into my discussion with the Chris's already in progress.
It's pretty good.
I was just bummed the ice cream kiosk wasn't up when we went to Sheets that one time.
Yeah, most of the time they're not. They've been down since COVID, and
Ugh,
a lot of them didn't reopen, and when they do, they break down a lot, so...
fucking COVID.
Man, we
Yeah.
don't have anything like this around here.
I know. The closest is Quick Trip, and that was my go-to before. And then I came down here and discovered that Quick Trip is shortchanging everybody. They could be offering
Trip.
so much more.
It's like
Yeah.
bottom tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than a regular gas station, still. But
If you
it's
go,
like...
if you go a little further north, you got Casey's.
Yeah.
And Casey's has, like, good pizza and, like, different, like, hot food, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was disappointed to know how much Quick Trip was depriving me by not offering. So,
Some actual
Yeah.
food.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you go even further north, you get Come and Go.
I remember Come
And
and
those
Goes.
aren't good except for the name is funny, so...
Exactly. I remember those. I used to go to those sometimes going back and forth between Truman and home.
That's right.
So,
That's when you do it.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. I feel like there's something else I was going to tell you guys, but I've lost it.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of coming home, how about that Dana and her time travels?
Oh, my God.
So,
Wait a minute, did you just try to do a segue?
I did, a little
Wow, that was pretty good. Pretty good.
I appreciate the effort.
Yeah,
Thank you. I have to practice.
I'm not out here doing that, so, you know.
Chris is like, I need to get on with this shit.
Yeah.
I understand.
You're making me hungry, and I need
Get
to talk about this
cracking.
book first.
I know. I'm like, I could go to Sheets
Yeah,
later. We get some tater tots.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know.
We have to go see that Ant-Man later on today, so...
Oh, hey, let me know how that is. I would like to see Ant-Man.
I will. I
I
don't
also
know.
have Marvel fatigue, so it gets hard sometimes.
I'm expecting to be like, alright,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
a movie.
I'm hoping the
going
visuals will be good. And it's got that Kane guy in it from the Loki show.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I didn't go see Wakanda Forever in the theaters. We haven't even watched it yet since it's been available. I just can't ever find the time.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
and I
I
want to
haven't
see
done
it,
that either.
but I'm just like, I was talking to my friend Alex, I just have Marvel fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I still like their movies. They are enjoyable flicks, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
each
3
time
or
a new one
4
comes out, I'm
movies a
like,
year is
this
too much.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't unique. It was better when it was like 2 per year.
Right.
Then it's something I could get excited about.
Right.
But I'm just like, man, I'll just wait for it to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah. I
So-
liked Wakanda Forever. We saw that in the movie theater. I didn't like it as much as the first Black Panther, but
That's the
Since they
general
had to, like,
consensus I got.
rewrite the
People
whole
liked
thing.
it, but yeah.
you can
It
kind of
doesn't
give them
compare,
some leeway for that, but
how could it without Chadwick Boseman? Like, there's no way it could really, and it shouldn't. I don't think it should try to equal that or go past. It should just be what it is.
right,
So,
right. And just a quick side note, because we just watched the first episode with our donuts this morning. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur seems like it'll be
sounds
pretty
interesting.
good. It's a cartoon they got on Disney Plus, and I guess
We'll have to check
Disney
it out.
Channel. Yep, a lady and her dinosaur defending the Lower East Side of New York City.
Okay, why not? So we were watching that. I can't remember that's on Netflix though. Whatever, and Puppy Cat. I can't remember the girl's
Puppy
name.
Cat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just so fucking trippy. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Is it good?
I think so, but it's really weird.
Netflix really wants me to watch it, but I haven't done
Yeah,
it.
you should. It's not bad. It's just extremely odd, but it works.
Yeah.
Cool.
It fits in that I'm 40 and I like really weird shit. So what can you do? But Puppy
Perfect.
Cat is like the first American, whatever, I can't remember what Hatsune Vocaloid. That's it.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The first American Vocaloid does Puppy Cat. So
it's like Hatsune Miku as a cartoon? Except not that
Except
one,
she's
different
not a
Vocaloid.
person.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. She's a puppy cat that does interdimensional shit with.
Is Puppy Cat
Being.
like Cat Dog before it gets big? Like,
No, it's just this little dog bean cat thing.
yeah.
So
Okay.
how it should be, not like cat dog.
No, okay. Well, we're like, let's get to business and talk about Devil Dinosaur and Puppy Cats for 10 minutes. But
Yep, exactly.
that's
how
an
it
effective
goes.
segue. That's how we do it.
I'm just sitting
Yeah.
here like, I finished this book 10 minutes before we were supposed to
Fucking
meet.
Professionals that we are.
Yeah, I got
And
to
I'm
consult
like,
the
this was
run sheet.
amazing.
This wasn't on our pre-meeting plan. Like, my note
But I've been
cards
sitting
don't
here
say
thinking,
anything
I'm
about
like,
this.
it's
Wait, what
kind
the
of
fuck
a...
are these things you're talking about?
I don't know. I just hear about it on the radio sometimes.
Are we supposed to be doing something before we...
Preparing? No, that's not what we do.
We're not supposed to, like, have notes and... Well, you have notes, I guess.
You
I have
notes.
notes.
How
That's
long
just because
ago
I can't
gave up on
remember shit.
notes? I do, so that's what I...
Yeah.
Maybe not a specific thing, but my brain is good at remembering the overall stuff as if I read it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
But like, I've just been going like, wow, this was really good.
yeah,
Just fits
like,
into that whole like, I need more Octavia Butler in my life.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, I'm like
even though she's known now, like people know of her and she's okay popular, I'm like, we've all been missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the wider culture, we've all been missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, at the risk of influencing the conversation, like I fucking love this book.
it's so good,
Like
so good.
yeah, just perfect.
Yeah, and like,
But it's
it's
like-
it's kind of fitting we're finishing reading it in Black History Month.
Right. Like
So I was like, this seems appropriate somehow.
like my mom read it too, and she actually finished before me. But I was talking to her about it last weekend, and like just the way that she's able to do so much characterizing of the people in
Yeah.
there in so little, like just little snippets of dialogue or
Right.
Yep.
just little small actions that you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of shitty. Why did they do that? Or
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep.
whatever, and it's just
Yep.
so economical and matter of fact, and like other books would
Yeah.
have been like taking pages and chapters of talking about all the stuff going on the plantation, where she's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then 4 months went by and this happened, and you still get all the same character
Yeah.
Right.
development and everything.
Like-
It was just really great.
Mm-hmm.
Her characterization is just so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, it's the kind of thing that editors tell authors to do. You
Right.
know, that like not every author actually can do.
Right.
But yeah, it's like make a character so strong that people can tell who it is without you actually naming them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like, especially with Rufus, like just the way she kind of played with that whole like a very realistic abusive relationship, you know, like
Yeah.
someone who will
Absolutely.
like slap you in the face and then be sorry about it later and like make it up and
Mhm.
like, you know, next time that won't happen. Like
like,
yeah,
okay,
until
bud,
you
yeah,
get a
it will.
little bit angry and fly off the handle again, and
Yeah.
yeah. So, like, I feel like in the first part of it, I was kind of like, well, he seems like he sort of likes her and is generally okay, but has to just deal with being a part of that time, which I think he is doing a little bit, but also he is fucking like sociopathic and like does not give a shit. Like,
well, they talk about it. Like, and she worries about it the whole time. Like, he's going to keep growing up and be an adult in this system, and it's going to change him. And no matter what he thinks now or whether he likes us or not, that won't matter. And it turned out to be true.
Yeah,
right.
Like the system is just so it wraps itself around everybody so much and permeates through everything, which it did. Like Rufus didn't really have a chance, especially in that time period, not to grow up and become that guy that he did.
Yeah,
like because Dana tried. She tried to like encourage that in him in the time she was there to not be like his dad, and he didn't do quite the same shit, but he had his own tendencies that were there to begin with, and he couldn't avoid them, and that comes out super clear. Like you're like, well, fuck, you know.
Well, and I can't remember if we talked about it in relation to this or not, but I remember when we were talking about In Order to Live. About how she like she like was 14 or something before she thought, maybe Kim Jong-un doesn't control the weather.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
and it wasn't until she was like in school for a couple of years reading stuff that she's like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And thinking about it in relation to this book, how easy it is for somebody to stay in slavery once they're there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like part of it is, the fear of the unknown, obviously. Part of it is the fear of, like, the very known.
Which there's a ton to fear in the very known.
Yeah, but part of it is also this mindset, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is just impossible to get out of.
Yeah.
True. Very true. And not having, like, the modern convenience of, like, I'm going to run away, and so I'll just get in a car and drive. Like,
you
have to go
literally have to go on foot
from someone who's going to follow you on horseback, like, the next day. But,
with hounds and everything. Like, it's...
Yeah.
It's amazing that people did get away.
Right.
Honestly.
Yep.
Like... and it seems like there's always more of the people who lived on the periphery, like, in Maryland and Virginia. It was a lot easier to get to a free state than if you were in Mississippi.
Yeah.
So...
Right. And, like, getting back to, like, her whole characterization thing, like, I really liked how she did a good job of showing how, like, the modern people like Kevin or Dana were like, I can't believe, like, how, like, this lady's like a mammy or like a, like an Aunt Tom, basically. That's stupid. And then a couple of chapters later, she's doing the exact same thing. It's like, in order to protect the kids from, like, getting a whipping or whatever. So
that's just it. You adapt and fit in to avoid pain and violence. So whether you want to do it or not.
Why would they do that anyway? Oh, okay, I get it now. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, it is, like, really kind of crazy looking at the arc of this book, like starting with this, like, cool and confident young black woman and how she's, like, just fucking torn down over the course of it.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
Like, how many times in the latter half of the book she calls herself a hypocrite?
Right.
Like, for telling somebody else, like, no, you shouldn't put up with this or whatever. Like, you shouldn't take this. You should, be free or whatever. And then, like, having to make the same decision herself and not being able to make the difficult choice.
Right.
Because I feel like that comes out especially in the end, like, talking about, like, when she's sent to the field for that day. Like, she's like, I wanted to kill this guy, but he was so much bigger than me, and, like, even if he wasn't, like, bodybuilder size, he was so much stronger. Yeah. She's like, there's nothing I could really do. Like, I could stab him, and then he'd just pull it out and stab me.
Yeah.
Like, like, having that realization sink in that she had no alternative.
Right.
Yep.
whether she wanted to mentally or not. Like, you couldn't literally do anything about it. Your choice is survive that or die.
Yep.
So,
yeah, and I feel like we talked about this before, but like as part of like her main idea is like, well, if I was back there, I would have just done it different. Like, I would have just stood up and took that whip and smacked him back. Like, don't whip me. And then
it's a nice thought.
Just being like,
then you got to do it.
Presented with the very real consequences of what that would mean. Like, okay, you can kill one of them, but you're not going to kill everybody.
And especially as modern people, like, we don't have the physicality to our life, our daily life, to actually be as strong as people were. Even the people who didn't do as much were still in better shape than we are. Yeah. So, like, what am I going to do in a world where everyone's kind of in good shape, even though they have nutritional issues? That's the thing you could pick with. But I'm like, how am I going to wrestle something away from somebody? I'm not going to be able to do that, and I'm a dude.
You're not like, going to die of malaria.
About the early 19th century, everyone was fucking cut.
Yeah, basically. Because even if you're rich, you're still moving shit around physically and still having to like get on a horse, and that deals with muscles to ride into town.
True.
And like move things about.
Yep.
Like, plus they're all skilled in guns, which I am not. Even though their guns are shitty, a shitty gun is still better than none.
True.
So.
Very true.
Like, again, that comes with, like, I could get a shot off at one person and hopefully hit them, but I would have no chance to reload before people were on top of me.
Right.
Oh, man. So, this sounds like the beginning of a horrible Lovecraft story.
Doesn't it?
Oh, man.
But yeah, just things like that. Like, you're like, well, yeah, fuck, what would you do then? Like, you have to survive.
Yeah.
So.
You know, also the risk of jumping ahead. I was glad to find out that like Kevin like didn't go the bad way.
Mm-hmm.
I was very glad about that. I was worried about poor Kevin.
She didn't come back, and Kevin had like 70 slaves on his own plantation.
Nope.
Right, tried to buy her back or whatever. Like, I'm
right.
Oh, jeez. I was all
like, 1817 isn't so bad.
Yeah. I was all ramped up for something horrible to happen, and to be fair, things that were horrible did happen.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad that Kevin wasn't the one doing it.
Correct. Yeah. Me too.
That would have been a lot.
He kept to himself as best as he could, to his ideals and morals.
Right.
So.
Right. Actually tried to help free some people. Like, okay, phew.
Yeah.
Phew.
I liked that line in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Where he was like, I had to lay low for a while because they accused me of helping slaves escape.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, did you? And he's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, of course I did. It was all true.
Uh-huh. Of course I did.
Yep.
Phew. I'm glad he did. Oh, man. Well, let's get into some notes, because we got a lot of stuff to cover. And, like, again, I'll say, like, this is the book is written so economically, I'm like, I either have to rewrite the whole thing or skip a lot. So, I opted for skipping a lot. But just put the asterisks on here, like, summarizing it and reading it are very different. Like,
just read the goddamn book.
This would be where our title comes in.
Yes, read
of
the
our whole podcast.
Book,
read the fucking book. It's well worth it.
It's not like Dracula, where like you can summarize and still get the idea, and maybe miss a few things. Like, you're missing a lot just with the summary. Like, you got to read it. So
yeah. With Dracula, you could summarize a whole chapter of like, they were in the dining room and they had a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The guy wept onto her openly, and he was like, "I'm glad women are here."
Yeah. How would we cry if not for women?
But not here, man. Mm-hmm. Not here. You just got to go read it. It's only 250 pages. It's fine. You can do it.
It's not a hard read, folks, for our few listeners.
Well,
you could read it.
The reading part is not the hard part.
Right. No. The concepts
and
God. Things inside of it are like, then you go, yes. Well, this kind of ties in, like, Rabbi on Friday night, his sermon, like, he had a joke. He's like, we had some people do some nice stuff. He's like, my sermon is not a feel-good.
Oh.
And it was all, it was actually interesting. He talked about, when he was in Israel for his year, for rabbinical school, he went with a group to Poland, and to see that, and they went to Treblinka, and he told us, like, I don't know, it's like, there's nothing left in Treblinka. Like, that was just a death camp.
Oh,
and, like, all the people, like, almost 1 million people died there. They were just offloaded and sent to gas chambers. So when they were done, they erased its presence. And now what's there as a memorial is it's kept. He said that there's a field with stones in it that they put on there, and each stone represents the communities from different places that were wiped out. Yeah. And like how many people were there and stuff. He's like, but we did all that. It's like this very solemn place. He's like, and I saw these couples, like this couple walking their dog along the edge of the park with a picnic basket, going to go have a picnic in the fields. Oh, okay. He's like, and that's like a very weird image for me, like this total juxtaposition. It's like, and then he talked about how America, which is true, doesn't try to reconcile its slavery past at all.
No.
And how, like, you can go to plantations and they should be preserved, but like you can have your fucking wedding there. He's like, think about this. Do you really want to be getting married in that place? Right. Where a few steps away are slave cabins, where generations of people were brutalized. It's like, right. It's like, and we had a chance in like the late '90s or early 2000s, like a bill was put before Congress to make a national memorial to the slaves, and they didn't do it.
Right.
That's and now bullshit. It's not going to ever pass. It's like, we need shit like that. We need to deal with this legacy. It's like, but we're like, you know, our country as a whole is like those picnickers at Treblinka. Well, it looks so pretty here, you know, and don't want to deal with what was there, what's under the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. And instead we have to deal with people who are like, we can't take down the Confederate flags here. That's part of our heritage. Like,
okay, traitor.
The Confederacy lasted less time than Cheers was on the air. Like, we don't have Cheers flags everywhere. Like, come on, guys.
Exactly.
Oh man, why don't we?
We should.
We should. Yeah. Get some. We should each get a Cheers flag for our house.
I saw. I don't remember if I brought this one up, but driving around town the other day, maybe not the other day, but a while back, driving around town, someone had a Wu-Tang Clan flag.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen those every now and then.
That is
the kind of.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang has also been around longer than the Confederacy ever was.
Like, many things have been around longer than the Confederacy was ever around.
My children, for instance.
Yes. That's my thing, like, because he talked about, like, the Germans have dealt with their past, and not perfectly.
No.
But much better than we have. And, like, it's illegal there to show Nazi shit, to have, like, a Nazi flag. I'm like, why are we one of the only developed countries that lets people openly celebrate a traitorous rebellion because their great-great-great-grandfather had to go fight in it?
Right.
Like, come the fuck on. And all these people are like, it's our heritage. I'm like, are you proud that you betrayed your country?
Apparently so.
Like, is that something we aspire to now? Maybe it is, given January 6th and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I've always thought it was, like, like, when I was a kid, I thought it was quirky. Yeah. And then when I got older and, like, you understand better, like, what it represents and kind of why people are still doing it, even if they don't really fully realize it.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, guys. This is about white supremacy here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you have to accept that fact. Yeah, like, the only reason this stuff was kept around was to keep Jim Crow in place and to let white people feel okay about that.
Right. Yeah.
In the South, being like, oh, it's our illustrious heritage, and look how we tried to preserve our way of life. Not the way in the rest of the country, our way of life, our values. I'm like, yeah, and your way of life and your values was to own and exploit other human beings for their labor.
Right.
Like, so you could make money, so your economy could, maybe not the individual, but so your regional economy could prosper.
Right.
And I'm like, you have to deal with that. Like, I have relatives. I was looking through my genealogy stuff. There's this one record in one of my dad's ancestors. It was like, oh yeah, it says he was in the Civil War. He was a Confederate. And I'm like, okay, like, which is odd because that guy's great-great-great-grandfather was a black man, but they didn't remember that at that point. So that had been hidden in the midst of time, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you just have to do, like, I'm not going to say, like, feel bad about what your ancestors did, but, like, understand that it was not the right thing to do. It's like, I know why it happened that way at the time, but it doesn't mean you have to glorify it.
Right.
You know, and that's my thing. I'm like, take down the monuments, put the statue, like, put it in a museum, like, that's okay. Because it is part of history of, like, oh, and, like, 50 years later, we threw up all these monuments and memorials to these people, you know, to the Confederates, because their kids, their older children wanted it or something. But I'm like, put it in context, like, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why Confederate soldiers didn't get to live in, you know, army retirement homes. It's because they betrayed their country. Like, people at the time knew that.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah, like, the first VAs and shit, like, VA retirement home, old people homes, just for Union soldiers, as they should have been.
Right.
I'm like, you betrayed your country. You're lucky you got back in. Honestly, lucky you got back in. Lincoln didn't want that so quickly. If he hadn't been assassinated, Reconstruction would have gone a lot differently.
Well, you know.
He wanted to actually reform the South.
He was a tyrant, so they had to kill him. Or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, white supremacist people owners.
So some of that kind of goes along with some thoughts that I had about the end of this, I guess.
Okay.
So I'll throw that in here really quickly.
Okay.
But like the sort of imagery, I guess, of jumping like way to the end here, the way that Dana ends up getting back, it's kind of alluded to in the prologue, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That she like ended up phased through a wall.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and is missing part of her arm now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end. Talking about like, I guess, understanding your history.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of, if you think about it, a way for her to explore something that exists in her family, in her past, in the history of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, like the story of the book and like the story of Dana and everything really is a like the kind of personal story, I guess, that could touch a lot of black people in this country, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, so this is to me, it almost seems like Octavia Butler's way of looking at something maybe in her own family history and kind of coming to grips with it.
Oh, I'm sure.
And like,
or even just suspected.
Yeah,
you know,
it doesn't have to be
common.
Necessarily like anything specific. Like it is such a common story that she wouldn't even necessarily have to look up many specific details about her own family or something. Like she could probably just pick from a hat.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But like, but I do see this as like Dana comes out of this experience like with a lot of scars, like all over, all over her back, and she's missing an arm and everything. But she's finally dealt with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's not going to be going back again.
Right.
And so like she's kind of earned her freedom from the sort of horrible, gory history.
Mm-hmm.
Like she kind of looked at it in the face, and she decided, or not decided, but she came face to face with it. She confronted it, and she's kind of accepted it as part of her past, and it scarred her.
Yeah,
but she was able to move on from it.
Right.
And I think, what you were saying about like the horrible history of slavery in this country, it's something that we all kind of have to do.
Right.
And
agreed.
And like I said, I like on many occasions before, I think this book is required reading. Like I think we should be teaching it in school.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one aspect of it, definitely. That idea that we need to confront our past.
Right.
Do.
Because we didn't
really do it
properly. Yeah.
No.
Didn't do it properly back in the 1800s, so.
No.
Or really in the 1900s, so.
No.
No.
Not at all.
Maybe now we can start thinking about it, but.
Maybe.
Well, once the loudest assholes die out, apparently. So we won't even try. That's what gets me like you.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're still, I'm sure we talked about this last time too, they're still trying to be like, I mean, that's difficult, so let's just not teach it in school.
Yeah, I'm like, no, that's the only time most Americans ever encounter studying history is in school.
Yep.
They're not like me, who are super interested in it and keep doing it. Even you guys have a passing interest and stuff here and there. Like, so if we don't teach it then, as we've seen, no one's ever going to learn about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we have to do the difficult work then and help our kids understand the complexities of the past.
Yeah,
the days of the fairy tale of America of manifest destiny are long over.
Yeah,
as they should be. And like, it doesn't mean you have to be like, oh, America's terrible and awful. You just have to be real about it. That there's different facets to every story. That when something good was happening in one part of the country, something bad was happening elsewhere, just like in real life.
Yeah,
like it helps. I think it helps us understand better, like the positives we have done as a country, as a society.
Yeah,
even in the midst of all just the bad and the stuff that stuck around too long, like.
Well, I
we
think
have tried to surpass that and overcome it to different degrees and like fix those issues.
Yeah. I think
but there's still a lot of work to do. That's the issue.
I think the way that we teach history has changed in the last few decades too.
Yeah,
though.
It has. Thankfully,
because I seem to remember learning history as like kind of a sequential. You know, like here's a list of dates, and here's a list of events, and like here's a list of people.
Yeah.
And like like this is history. But like what I've seen more recently is history is being taught as more of like almost like a pool or something. Where it's like here are all of these things that were happening around the same time to give you context for like what was the situation in the world at that particular moment.
Right.
And that was something like history always came off as very dry to me, I guess, when I was learning it. But like whenever it's presented in such a way that you have that richness, that color, then it's much more interesting.
Yeah,
for sure. Hopefully, not only do we get like, again, more diverse experiences in our history because of this, but also, more people interested in it because it is just more interesting that way.
It is. Well, that's why I'm trying to become a teacher. Just because I see that, like, now my school's a little different just because the kids they're not interested in anything. That's a whole other battle. At least I will give the school props when they do have the resources that we need. Like, I was in high school the last few days. Last week. So their history teacher, the freshman, she, I think she's their English and their history teacher.
Yeah.
Because I think they need someone to teach the history. Because the kids have told me, she's told she doesn't really know history that well. But she made a smart move, I thought. She got them to send them textbooks.
Yeah.
So they have to stay in the classroom. There's not enough textbooks for every kid to have one. But there is enough for them to use. So while they're older, because I've noticed in, like, North Carolina at least, I guess the last time they made a history book for school was 2008.
Oh.
Because the world history one, that's the copyright date. And then the American history one I borrowed last year, the 8th grade one, that's also 2008. And since then, because I've seen the rubric and stuff, like now it's like you're supposed to plan yourself. And here's all the shit you have to cover to meet the standards, but there's no guide for it, and there's no book. And like the book, I think, is important, and I'm glad she's using it, even if it's a little old now, because most of the stuff, it's still covering all the same core concepts, but it does it like we were talking about. Like everything is like each chapter focuses on a different aspect. Like they were doing ancient Greece, but like in the chapter before covered what was happening in the Bronze Age in India and like China and stuff.
Yeah.
Before then was like, you merge them together. So you focus on this thing for a chunk, for a unit, but then it is all together, all the context, and manages to go, remember, these people traded with these people, so they knew each other.
Yeah.
They knew of each other. And like, this is how it all, and as you move on, it goes, this is how all this stuff comes together and shapes what happens in the next epic here, the next saga. Which I was like, good. Like, that's how it should be done. It shouldn't be kind of willy-nilly, like, how are you going to string it together, individual teacher, based on your own experiences. Like, I think it should be this guided exercise, at least to some degree.
Have you ever seen Connections with James Burke? So it was a TV show. I think they did the first one in like the early 80s. And then they did another one in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Or another two.
Okay.
And like it was really interesting because James Burke had this idea of like knowledge and history as like a web.
Yeah, well, that's how I see it.
Well, but what was really funny about it is he was talking about like, oh yeah, we'll compile all of this information, we'll have it all available, and you'll be able to search through it, and like you'll be able to see like how all of the things are connected to all of the other things.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a great idea.
It sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? So, like, basically in like, the late 70s or early 80s, James Burke invented Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. But, like, so one of the things that was really cool is that he made this TV show called Connections.
Mm-hmm.
And what Connections is the format of it is almost like those Wikipedia challenges where they're like, get to styrofoam cup as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
Like,
nice.
He made a TV show where he starts on a random topic,
mm-hmm.
and then he moves, basically Wikipedia style, like hyperlink to hyperlink,
mm-hmm.
Until he gets to some completely other random topic.
Nice.
And like
that's how my brain works.
And every single hop along the way is accompanied by like a little host segment that he does,
mm-hmm.
or like a little historical reenactment, or like some little shadow play or something, like some weird little thing. But like the stuff he talks about is always super cool, and it's like always this like fucking back corner of history that you're
right?
never gonna read about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's always some random fact that like, yeah, you wouldn't get it some other way aside from like just flipping to a random page in a book.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, the people who researched the show must have had like a super huge amount of fun. Because
I bet I would love to do something like that now.
It strikes me as such a librarian thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it would be a lot easier to make now with Wikipedia. But keep in mind that when they did actually make all of these shows, Wikipedia did not exist yet.
Correct.
So.
Right. For you kids out there, none of you who are listening, Wikipedia has only existed since we were in college.
Yeah.
So I remember many a night lost at Truman to early Wikipedia rabbit holes of wonder and discovery, but avoiding my papers.
Ooh.
Studying things other than what you're supposed to be writing about.
yeah, exactly.
So you can think of that as a ringing endorsement from me, though.
All right.
Go watch Connections.
I will do that.
It's really
I'll have
good.
to preview it because maybe I'll be able to use it when I'm subbing to some.
Yeah.
So
that on.
we're like, all right, guys, I'm just going to put this on, and you can pay attention to it or not.
Yeah.
But it's going to be here, and maybe it'll sink into your head too
while
you're doing your stuff.
So we've once again failed at segues, but
we did, but we went down a really interesting route.
Speaking of rabbit holes, yeah.
So this is my life.
Speaking of rabbit holes,
So this book, right?
This book, yes.
Let's start going over this. Like,
oh my god,
just pick your favorite pieces.
Actually talking about it.
Where were we?
Pieces.
We were. Dana had just been found teaching Nigel, who was one of the slave kids on the Wherein plantation, how to read, and was being whipped when she disappeared, and this time without her husband Kevin.
Oh fuck.
No. And so the fight starts with another flashback to when Dana and Kevin were deciding to get married. Basically, Kevin proposing after being denied 3 times by her to type his manuscripts. It's like, well, I guess we should get married then instead. But and they're both really excited for it, but both of their families are not. Even Kevin's sister turns out to be way less cool than he thought she was.
Yeah. This
And
is how you find out.
Right.
It is.
God damn it.
Especially in the 70s.
People talk a good game until they have to, like, actually do it.
Yeah.
People do.
No, don't do that. And yeah, basically Dana's like, man, he would have made a good Nazi. And again, this is where I was worried before. I'm like, please don't. Please don't. And even Dana's family is like concerned that her kids would be even lighter than she is. And they're like, yeah, fuck those guys. And so they drive to Vegas and pretend they don't have a family and get married anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
sometimes that's what you got to do.
Sometimes. You can also go to Vegas and get married with your family. Just
correct. You can.
I've done it before. It's great.
Yep.
So when she comes to, she's alone in her house and in terrible pain, as you might expect. Has to drag herself into the tub to let her clothes soak enough to remove them from her bloody back. And then even eventually has to Hulk rage through a shower to get cleaned up. She packs up a new bag that wouldn't seem as out of place if she has to go back. And full of stuff that she had missed last time, like, toothpaste and soap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has no idea when or if she'll be called back again, or how long it will be for Kevin when she finally gets back. Calls her cousin over to ask her to bring groceries. And her cousin, on seeing her, is like, has he been beating you? But he's like, even if she thinks that, she'll keep quiet about it, so...
Which, whole other commentary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which, again, very economical. Like, just planting that seed and let's move on. Like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She spends a few days, like, continuing to unpack their apartment and trying to write about what's happened to her, and she's like, it's too soon. Like, I can't write about this yet. Although she does read books about the Civil War and notes that Gone with the Wind in particular is way too sugar-coated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and books about World War II and thinks about how Nazis were trying to speedrun what America did over hundreds of years.
Yeah.
That is true.
It's a full, 8 days before she gets that dizzy feeling again. But this time she's going back fully equipped. And shows up once again back in the woods, where a black woman is holding together a ripped dress, and a black man is beating the shit out of our red-headed danger magnet Rufus. Beating the shit out of him. Yeah. The guy has knocked him out and seems about to kill him when Dana intervenes, basically being like, what do you think is going to happen to both of you if you kill him? The woman recognizes her, is like, I saw you when I was little, so this is Alice now, all grown up. And her husband, Isaac, is the one beating Rufus. So she talks to them and confirms Rufus is 19 now. And also that Kevin had gone up north. She convinces the two of them that they just need to take off. Instead of, murdering the plantation owner's son. So,
yeah, it's probably
best to not.
Yeah.
So yeah, she takes her time with trying to revive him, so she can give them a head start, and then is even playing coy as much as she can when he does come to and is like, where did they go? So she tries to redirect him. Is like, Rufy, did you rape that girl? It's like, well, I wouldn't have had to if she hadn't kept saying no. Like, Jesus, okay. But he's very indignant about, like, why would she even want a field hand anyway? And Dana's like, yeah, imagine her choosing her husband over you. Like, imagine that.
Imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, she begins to gather that Rufus has been trying to nice guy Alice the whole time. Like, I treated you nice 8 times, now sex.
Yeah.
Like, it's owed to me now, but she also makes a note that it would have been more shameful for him to just be in love with a slave than it would to have just raped her. I'm like, nice.
Jesus.
Difficult topics, guys.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
To say the least, difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, she's slow playing, helping him and going to get help, and tries to remind him that they could both be very dangerous to each other. So, only agrees to go and get help after he says that he'll tell everyone that some white guys attacked him, so that Alice can get as much of a head start as possible. Also liked her being like, is your dad gonna be weird when he sees me?
Probably.
So yeah, she goes back, tries to find her way back to the house using paper as like a trail. Some paper she brought back that she rips up. Makes her way to the road and past a much nicer looking house than the Whalens. Meets some skinny, tall white guy, asking where she's going. I guess this is the field overseer that she met. He's like, hey, does Mr. Whalen still live here? Because Mr. Rufus is very hurt. And he's like, that worthless bastard. That guy brings her back to Tom Whalen's library, where she reunites with a very pregnant Carrie and Nigel, who's now looking much like his dad, Luke, who I think has died at this point. And just a reminder, Carrie's the mute girl that she met last time she was there. So yeah, they get together and hitch the wagon up again to go and pick up Rufus again. And Rufus holds her hand on the ride back, saying, I'm going to keep my word. And his dad's like, keep his word about what now? And she's like, I don't know, he's real sick. I don't know what he's talking about. He's got the fever.
The fever.
And back at home, Papa Whalen questions her, like, who the hell are you? And she's like, I'm someone who saved your son. It's like, that does seem to be your job. Only show up when my kid needs help. But he offers to let her stay again, implying that she had some sort of a choice, but that she'll still have to work to earn her keep. She asks him about Kevin, and he's like, that damn fool. That's basically all he says about it. The doctor that they called is delayed because of a troublesome birth, so Dana does her best to bandage up Rufus's ribs, which seem to be very broken. Sarah pops in to give her a hug and to shake her head, like a mother at him, like, this kid will fight anyone, like, this idiot. She gives Rufus some of her 1970s aspirins for his fever, and he's like, anything that tastes this bad must be good medicine. Because I like the note that he just chews them, like,
yeah,
no swallow them down.
I guess that wouldn't be a thought. I don't know.
Nope.
Nigel
I don't think tablets were a thing until a little bit later.
Nope. And by the way, don't chew those. That doesn't taste good and not good for you.
You're not supposed to chew them.
No.
Yeah.
No. Nigel brings in some water, a water basin, and gets Dana to silently confirm that Isaac had been the one to beat Rufus and that he'd gotten away. The doctor comes next morning and is like very condescending to her, even though like they both have the same amount of medical training, which is none.
Yep.
And like he's like, well, he doesn't seem to have a fever anymore, so let's not bleed him. And then he redoes the bandages much more poorly and then leaves.
Yeah.
That
That also sounds like a commentary on shit in the 1970s too.
You're right.
Yeah. Dana shares some of Rufus's breakfast, which they note is pretty dangerous that they're eating together, and then ducks into the cookhouse to talk to Sarah and Nigel. Sarah's giving her updates, telling her that Tom Whalen's wife Margaret left to Baltimore, having had twins that both died shortly after birth, and drove her a bit crazy. Nigel tells her that he's the father of Carrie's baby, or at least he ought to be.
He better be.
He better be, since they're married and stuff. And I liked, well, I don't know if I liked it, but the note about them having an actual marriage ceremony, not just jumping over a broomstick.
Yeah.
With a priest and everything. Like, not that it was legally any different, but at least they gave them the courtesy of having a ceremony.
Right.
Yeah.
That was not as common.
Yeah. Like, I've heard of jumping the broom, but I guess I didn't realize it was kind of like, all right, you idiots, go do your thing. Like, this is your version of marriage.
Yeah, they ended up having to create their own own ceremony because they weren't allowed to have any others.
Right.
They were just animals. Why do animals don't get married?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He tells him that. Well, I think Sarah tells him that Luke had been sold south after being a bit too into his technique of just saying yes and doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, they say that Tom Whalen figured it was nicer to just sell him than beating him until he decided to run away. I'm like, I guess. If you want to compare those two, one is a little nicer, but... But yes, there's a note here, like, his father wasn't the monster he could have been. And actually, he wasn't a monster at all, just like an ordinary guy in this society. Like,
Unfortunately.
Dana and Rufus have a talk. Rufus is, like, amazed how she still looks so young and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells him, it's, like, really only been about 10 days for me. Like, since I met you the first time. Like,
right.
Of course I look young.
Right.
He lets her read some of Kevin's letters that he had sent, saying he was going to go up to Maine soon. And she writes one to him herself, letting him know that she's back and she'll be at the plantation. Rufus is really interesting with her fancy future pen, like basically a big ballpoint pen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the stuff that she brought back to the past.
And it is crazy technology.
Yeah. It is, for a time when you're still cutting your quill to make a pen.
Yeah,
for the most
just keep
part.
Writing and everything. And just imagine if she came back from the 90s with gel pens.
Oh my god.
Sparkles.
Yeah.
Man.
Some purple ink.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, like, it literally is, like, the ballpoint on a ballpoint pen has to take a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a highly engineered material.
Yeah.
You take a modern, like, Bic or something back, even just 100 years, they'll still be impressed.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're just kind of starting to develop this shit. Like, a few little pen makers are experimenting with stuff.
Right.
Like, we all still used to use, like, fountain pens. But this is cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to refill the ink or anything. I'm like, nope.
No, just
but you also throw it away when you're done.
Just throw it out.
It's incredibly wasteful.
Yeah. The future.
Mm-hmm. Plastics. Go into plastics, son.
It's going to be big.
Yep.
Indoor plumbing. You can start it. Let's go. Yeah, he's particularly concerned, though, about a book that she brought back about slavery. It's like, what is all this abolitionist crap?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, just by the way, that was written 100 years after slavery was abolished.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they still seem really upset about it, though. Like, what's up with that?
Gee, I wonder what would be up with that.
Just get over it, guys. She
did you a favor, jeez.
She kind of has a realization that this could be kind of like a Gray's Sports Almanac situation. Like,
yeah.
Not sure if someone could change the future with it, but not keen on finding out.
Yeah.
Like, noting that, like, Sojourner Truth, like, is currently a slave, and, like, they could probably find her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or Harriet Tubman, even though she wasn't going by that name then, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I ended up being smarter to get rid of it.
Yeah. It's like, you've got to burn this. She's like, agrees, but tears out a map of Maryland to save. He's like, you got to burn that too. They think you're going to run away. But she's like, I need at least something. And he's like, burn it or I won't send your letter. And she's like, this isn't a level playing field of blackmail here. Like, This is really not fair. But he says, I'm the one who got my dad to take Kevin back. And I can't be sure if I can protect you if you don't cooperate this time. So she's like, all right. Throws it in the fire. There's an aside about how Sarah's running the house now that Margaret's gone, and how Dana has trouble not looking down her nose at her as like an Aunt Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about it earlier, like even though she's just doing the best she can to get everything running.
Yep.
So, a week later, Rufus goes into town to do some work and also to mail Dana's letters. Comes back with a beaten and bloody Alice, who Rufus had to buy in order to keep her from being sent south. So, he demands that Dana use some of her future medicine to help her. She does the best she can, but, again, she's not a doctor, so. Rufus puts her in his bed, and Dana gives her sleeping pills. And then Rufus climbs in there with her, and she's like, dude, please, just leave her alone. Can you just? And he's like,
right?
Please don't do this. At that point, he doesn't. So, at least some credit.
Oh my god.
Jesus. Bare minimum. But, yeah. Dana tries to go to sleep in the attic, but is really bothered about the whole idea that Rufus really caused all this trouble to begin with.
Yeah.
And now he has ownership of the girl that he tried to rape. So now it's nice and legal.
Right.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah. Great. So Sarah does come up and checks in with her, tells her that Isaac had his ears cut off and was sold down to Mississippi.
That's cool.
It's great.
No, not cool at all. She wonders if Alice is now going to replace Dana since she's here and, property now. And also is kind of wondering, can you be really sure that Rufus even mailed your letter to Kevin? He'll say what makes you feel good, not what's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, she does check with Nigel later, who's like, I didn't really see him mail anything or not, but no one even seems to be sure how long she should expect a letter to take. So, a month, 2 months, who knows?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Once Alice is a little bit better, she seems to have some sort of mental damages, as well as chunks missing from where the dogs had chewed her.
Mm-hmm.
And Dana can only really hope that there's no infections or rabies, but Alice does seem to be healing, even if she doesn't remember anything and is acting very childlike. Rufus is like, this is really good though, because if she can't remember what happened, she can't hate me. Which I think in a court of law is consciousness of guilt, and so should take that into consideration. Yeah. Eventually Alice starts getting restless and they go out to visit the cookhouse on the very day that Carrie goes into labor. So Sarah goes to help with that and leaves the two of them to finish dinner. And while they're cooking, Alice starts questioning her. He's like, why are you a slave, Dana? That's weird. Mom always said she'd rather die than be a slave, and I'd hate to be a slave. And Dana's like, what do you think's going on here?
Right. Things are not what they appear.
Yeah, Alice's like, I feel like you know something. And she's like, you haven't seemed at all very curious about how you got here and so injured. And that seems to unlock things for Alice. And screams for Isaac, cries about them cutting off his ears, and shouts at Dana for not saying anything. Which Dana figures, fair enough. Better for her to vent at me than someone who's going to get her in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
Yeah. And then she has to go and round up the boys to help bring in food, to hurry up and get washed and get the food. You sound just like Sarah. She's like, let me get a switch and you'll find out how much like Sarah I really am. Come on. So see, here's the role reversal. A minute ago she was talking about house slaves being mean to everybody, and now she's doing it.
Yep.
Let's see. Alice calls her some really hateful things that basically equate to her being a race traitor, let's say.
Yeah.
And she's like, why didn't you just have the sense to let me die before? Which, again, if she didn't need her for, her own life, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, Carrie and Nigel have a baby boy, though, who they named Jude. And Nigel's really happy for about a minute until Waylon's get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he should be happier because of me. He's one N-word richer.
Jeez.
Yep. You just got to say "geez" a lot in this section of the book.
Oh my god!
Sure do.
It's tough.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. Yeah, so Dana convinces Rufus to let her send another letter. Mail gets lost all the time, even in the 70s. Surely if it's on a horse, it could just fall out or something.
Yeah.
Although, none of Dracula's letters got lost when he wanted to send them.
Well, it's because he had money and could pay people to deliver it.
Vampire powers, but...
Yeah.
Just vampires the letter to you.
Apparently our 19th century mail was pretty good, but still takes a while to get places.
Yeah.
And if you're not there, they just hold on to it till they find you.
Well, people were more serious about it back then, I think. There's no other way to communicate over this amount of distance, so we got to make it right.
Yep.
That's true.
Let's see. So then, at the same time, Rufus is working on her to convince Alice that she should be raped by him.
Yeah. What was that?
God damn it.
I really love it when your great-grandparents include you in their interests. That's really cool. It's listen, would you rather, I beat her and then do it anyway, or do you want to convince her? Let's gaslight her together.
This just takes me back to
oh god,
my comment before about how this book really is like the worst version of Back to the Future.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes. Agreed. Yeah. And as you might imagine, like, Alice isn't very well pleased when she suggests this to her, like... But, yeah.
Go figure.
She eventually concedes that she probably can't kill him, and she couldn't muster enough energy for another escape attempt, so...
Yeah.
She does go to him, like, she notes, like, she didn't kill him, but she did seem to die a little inside.
Yeah.
As you might expect.
Yeah.
There's even a very terrible thought here about, like, can you rape someone or something that you legally own? Like, at least in the eyes of the law this time, like...
Yeah.
That really sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
Good question. Because until relatively recently, you also couldn't legally rape your wife.
Right.
So... Now we know better.
Right. Listen, let's make a stand here. Like, no raping people, guys.
That's generally my
do
consensus and key to life, is don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
I think that falls under the general umbrella.
Yes. It does.
Especially
That's the one main life philosophy I have for people, if they don't have anything else, is don't be a dick.
Yes.
Like, it's you really, do that, you're fine.
It's really, really easy to not rape people. Like, just
Correct.
Don't.
It's true.
It's the easiest thing in the world to not do.
Yeah, just keep it in your pants and keep going. Like, you don't have to carry that act out. Yeah. And if you do, then don't be surprised if someone stabs you later. So...
Yes, exactly. You will have earned it then.
That's why I'm a Slytherin. It's like, oh, you earned that death. Go right ahead and die.
Go right ahead, sir. Yeah. Yeah, and she even notes that Rufus is walking around just pleased as punch with himself afterward. Mm-hmm. And, like, that he had found a way to control her by threatening hurting other people. So, that's when Dana begins to prepare to run away herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not too long after that, Alice silently comes to her in the cookhouse to show her something she found on Rufus's bedside table, which is sealed envelopes with her handwriting on them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she waits until that night when everyone's asleep and sets out, and it's pretty quickly clear that she waited too long to leave, and she's on the lam for, like, one night before Rufus and Tom Whalen have caught up to her on horseback, flushed her from hiding, and kicked her in the fucking face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's knocked out and comes back to her senses on the back of Rufus's horse, and ties her hands.
You don't own her, just let her go.
Lets her ride in front of him. It's like, fool, you know what they're good. You know that they'll whip you. And though she fights like a wild person, they indeed tie her up, strip her down, and beat her.
Yeah,
and through the whole thing, she tries to convince herself to be scared to death.
To go home.
But she can't. She knows that they're not going to kill her.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll
Jesus
do everything
Christ.
up to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Somehow even worse.
It's...
definitely even worse.
Yeah, like... It's kind of insane that it's gotten to that point, right?
Yeah, it is.
That she absolutely knows that she's not going to die from this.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, because it's not life-threatening, she's completely stuck.
Right.
And, like... Yeah. And I guess it'll come up again.
It will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sadly enough, it will. So yeah, she's given over to Alice, who returns her favor from earlier of caring for her. So again, some role reversals.
Yeah.
And even then, she's like, "I'm going to try running again."
I think all of this section like serves to cement kind of this idea that they are two halves of the same coin, right?
Yeah.
That both she and Alice are like going through very similar things, like having very similar thoughts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but if you're writing a paper about this for school, role reversal, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a constant theme in here. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a note about Liza, who's like a sewing woman who's like, she fell on a rake. Apparently that's the one who told on Dana when she was escaping.
Yeah.
She made sure to tell Tom Whalen because they weren't sure if Rufus might let her go. So
right.
Alice and Tess and Carrie applied some prison justice to her.
They did.
Yep.
They were like, don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Right.
We took care of it. And as soon as Dana's up again, Rufus calls her into his room to show her a letter from Kevin that he was on his way back. He's like, Dad sent this after, and she cuts him off, like, after you found out that you lied about sending my letter. He's like, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
But makes a note that his dad's the only man he knows who cares as much about giving his word to a black as a white.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's one of the few things that I can respect about him. Like,
that's true.
So, like, the seeds are there, but, not quite germinated.
They can't make that leap where they should go.
Yeah.
They're stuck in their own system.
Right. So one day while Alice and Dana are working on beating some laundry, a bearded man rides up who's like a dusty, tired-looking guy who, of course, is Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
Hooray!
There he is.
Yay. And despite still being in extreme pain from her beating, like, she can't help but embrace him.
Yeah.
And they decide they're going to leave right then.
Yep.
With Alice looking on, like, clearly thinking of Isaac. And they do ride off until they find Rufus blocking their way. It's like, you're just going to leave after all you owe us?
She don't owe you shit, Ruf. She's never owed you anything. You owe her multiple times.
Yeah. No, well, not from his perspective, I guess.
Well,
yeah.
And then,
catch up with him.
After his very polite invitation to dinner is declined, points a gun at him and is like, you aren't leaving. So, there's a bit of a scuffle. The gun is pointed in her face, and that's enough, I think, to start sending her back.
Mm-hmm.
But as she's going, she feels something very heavy land on her back, and everything's dark. So the storm opens up with them back at home, just her and Kevin. And they're like, first things first, fucking. We'll find out later. It's been 5 years for Kevin. He's like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tells her that he had been about to buy a farm up in Maine when he got the letter, so like she almost missed him.
Would have gotten him eventually, but
Yeah. Still having to survive 5 years.
Yeah. Not ever knowing if you were going to go back would be crazy.
Yep.
Like, I feel like time travel would be one thing if you're choosing to stay somewhere. It's another thing when you have no choice.
Yeah, a lot of things are better when you're choosing them.
Yes. yes, they are. That's a clear theme in the book too, kids.
Just leave that. Yes. He says that things hadn't been great back at the Whalens, and that, like we said before, he'd helped many slaves to run away. Like we noted, there was at least the rumor that he had. I actually
get it started. No,
it's like, okay, good. But yeah, Kevin seems really kind of out of it. Like, Dana's trying to convince him not to try to come back all at once.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the culture shock.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's basically wandering the house, which they remind us they had only been in for 2 days. He's like, I don't know where anything is. Like, everything's too soft. Like, he's even wondering aloud if this is how prisoners feel after they've been let out.
Yeah.
So yeah, they take some time when they're about to tuck into some chops. There's that feeling again. So Dana tells Kevin to go get the pack. There's kind of a moment of hesitation between the two of them when he gets it. Like, can I sit this one out? Like throws it to her. And then she's standing in the rain, clutching her bag all alone. She's like, okay, where the fuck is Rufus? Like, what did you do this time?
Right? What's happening?
This fucking guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
She trips over him, laying face down in a ditch, and he's sick, or more likely very drunk. She, drags him towards the house, which is mercifully close by, until, he vomits on them both, and there's lightning, and she's like, fuck this. I'm just gonna get help. Nigel comes and helps her carry him home, and Tom Whalen's like, "Oh, great. If you're here, what the hell happened to Rufus?" Yeah. She notices that Tom Whalen's like now very old. And she finds out it's 6 years later this time.
Mm-hmm.
Tom is coughing from, I don't know, being an old guy, I guess. Like, you just go on helping Rufus. And you're like, I will, up until the point that I'm beaten again, and then you can both get fucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a fair statement.
Yeah. Like, Nigel seems to think that Rufus has, what, ague?
Egg?
Ague?
Ague? An accent ague? Egg? Which...
Because we all call it, what, malaria?
Yeah.
Yes, malaria.
She remembers after she's smacking a mosquito that's what they called malaria back in the day.
How does one pronounce...
There's no accents. I don't know how to do it.
Ague.
So I was right. Cool.
Ague.
That's how I was reading it in my head, was ague.
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 She's like, shit, if it's ague, you need to get some netting up.
Mm-hmm. Why? Why, dear
Keep
reader?
the mosquitoes off of there. Like asking if anyone else is sick. I'm like, well, some kids have like the flu, but...
Don't just figure it's maybe mumps. Like,
Right.
like
Yeah.
half their face is swollen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
do we...
shit.
Do we... I never figured out what it was actually... Because it's not malaria, but his legs hurt a lot. Like,
It's dengue later on.
dengue fever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he encounters a doctor in town and talks about what happened to him. The doctor's like, oh, that's dengue. Because I was sitting there thinking, like, this sounds familiar, but it sounds like shit like people who went to Africa got or something.
Yeah.
I
Like,
thought it was...
almost sounded like Zika, but that came from there too.
Yeah.
But that caused
Yeah.
the same things, like massive joint pain and shit like that.
I
Yeah.
thought it would be gout. 'Cause people got gout back in the day.
You don't usually have it in all your joints at once. You only have it in like one or two at a time.
Usually that's more like feet, right?
Usually it's feet and maybe your knees, stuff like that.
Anyway, that's why I'm not a doctor.
Or your fingers, but that's because then it's a little more arthritic at that point.
Right. Yep. So yeah. Yeah, she asks Rufus, like, why do you seem to want to die so much? It's like, if you're in pain like I am, the dying seems pretty friendly.
Yeah,
So, yeah, he's talking about how his legs hurt and his eyes hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells Tom to send for a doctor because this ain't malaria.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. You just keep him alive.
Yeah, he's like, listen, devil woman, just do your voodoo or whatever and stop talking nonsense about mosquitoes.
She's like, that's not how it works, asshole. I only know a little bit. I'm from the future.
He doesn't get it.
He does not. He's a little dense.
He is. He is. And so with a mix of like some Excedrin and like tea and juice and cold washcloths and like a week of fever, seems like Rufus does eventually get well again. Like in this section, we learned that Alice has had 3 children. One is still alive, whose name's Joe and not Hagar. So she's like, okay, still gotta
Hagar's
put up
not
with this
around
shit.
yet.
Like,
Yep.
yeah. So, the very first night that Dana's able to like sleep, not in Rufus's room because he's not burning up a fever, she's called to help Tom, who's very clearly had a heart attack. She kind of like, I guess I'll give him CPR. Like, doesn't help much, but there's not much you can do on your own for a heart attack.
Right.
If you're not a hospital.
Yeah. Really nothing at all. You're either going to survive it or you're not.
Right. And Rufus is very much like, yeah, you just let him die. What the hell? With your future medicine magic.
She's not a doctor, Roof. She doesn't have the right
No,
medications.
she's
And even though
magic.
they're in the 70s, they didn't have as many as they do now.
She's magic from the future, sorry. It's her fault. So yeah, he punishes her by sending her out to work in the field, like cutting corn stalks.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, with a new overseer who's very liberal with a whip.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's like, I have never done this before. He's like, guess you're going to learn. And whips her in the tits.
Yep.
She's like, that seems like bad form.
What a
quality person there.
What a cool guy.
What a cool guy.
Those are the people that make me want to learn how to use firearms.
I did
grab onto Dana when she travels and just blow them away.
I did enjoy the other woman being like, dude, don't work so fast.
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
Like,
this is a run out the clock situation.
Like, just take it, because then he's going to know whether you can do work or not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
She's not wrong at all.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the first day, like...
Yeah.
That you've never done
that's
before.
They're testing you to see what you can do.
Yeah.
I'm like, good Lord.
Yeah. I think this applies to work today, too. Like, do less than you can do. Because they're only going to ask for more later. Like,
I love how they labeled last year quiet quitting as just doing your job.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not quitting. That's doing what you're paid to do.
Yeah.
But you're not doing more. Well, you don't pay me for more, so why would you get more?
Exactly.
Because we're a family.
I don't understand why that's such a foreign concept to so many employers.
Our workplace is like a family. We're friends first.
No, we're not. If we're friends first, you should be paying me double what you're paying me and give me every holiday off that I ask for. Because we're friends and we help each other out.
Man. We get a beer together sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, Dana works that day until she stumbles and falls in the dirt. And she notes, like, I could have been going home or dying. Like, I didn't care.
Either one. It's fine.
Either one. As long as I wasn't still in pain.
Yep.
So, Rufus is the one who wakes her up in the field and takes her back to the house. She goes for some of the Excedrin he still has. She's like, why are you always doing stupid things, Dana? Like, and you make me have to hurt you. I'm like, this, by the way, is a red flag warning in real life. Yeah. You never make someone have to hurt you. Like,
correct.
Someone says that to you, you need to get out of that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially if they own you.
Right. That's even worse.
It's much worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's basically like, bitch, I need to stop saving your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, how many times I saved you now? Why are you not dead?
Yeah.
You would have died as a child.
Right. I should have just let you drown.
Yep.
He tells her that his mom is going to come back now that Papa Whelan's dead to live with him, and she's going to need someone to take care of her. She's like, please, anyone but your crazy-ass mom. Like, why not Alice do it? It's like, no. Like, she's going to hate Alice anyway, and, like, she's going to have another kid, so... Like, well, maybe this will be Hagar. So, at this point, I'm like, I'm ready for Hagar to be born and Dana, like, burn the place to the ground. Like, take her and run.
Right.
Like, will she even have me, though? Like, your mom hates me. Like, it's okay, listen, she's all jacked up on laudanum, and it'll be fine. And why don't you just go read a book or something? And again, here's, like, the treat to make up to her after being mean. Like, go do something you like. And this will never happen again.
Yep.
So, Margaret Whalen does come back. She can't walk very much anymore. And she's, like, really interested this time in all the slave babies. Especially the ones that look kind of like her husband and her son. She mentions, like, giving them candy all the time, and they just love her.
Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, speaking of troubling people, like, I was reminded of a Bill Cosby quote. It's like, kids, this is an old person trying to get into heaven now. Like, she's going to die soon, and she wants to make good. But, Margaret asked Dana to read to her from the Bible. And she slots herself back into her role of, like, commanding people to do the work they had already been doing.
Yeah.
And even forces Dana to learn how to sew. And around this time, Dana starts to notice that the slaves don't seem to like her very much. Like, even Alice is saying, like, one day in the field, and you're, like, falling all over yourself to go help Margaret instead.
Basically.
She's like, bitch, please. Walks out.
Like, if you could, you would too. But, you know. Plus, the workers in the cookhouse are very careful of what they say when she's there, like, in case she's a snitch. Like, callbacks to when everybody basically was warning Dana, like, please watch what you say. Like, you never know who's listening.
Yeah.
But all of this drives her in the woods for, like, a health walk.
Yeah.
Where she sees a chain of slaves being driven to the Whalen place. And in fact, there are 3 people being sold there, including Tess, who I don't remember who that is. Like, I know she was name checked, but I don't remember her role on the.
So Tess
they talked about it.
Tess was Tom Whalen's bed partner, shall we say?
Gotcha.
And then after he didn't want her anymore, she ended up outside doing the laundry and ended up being the overseer's bed partner.
Yeah. Lovely.
And then I guess the overseer didn't want her anymore, or no, they said they maybe kind of alluded, or maybe I made a connection in my head that Margaret didn't want her around.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of that reminder that
of her husband.
Yeah, her husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was gotten rid of.
Okay. Makes sense to me. And it does seem to be the theme, like selling people that you don't like seeing anymore.
Yeah.
Don't care to see anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So this seems to prove to Dana that, or finally prove to her that Rufus is going to be just like old Tom.
Yeah.
And
and he says that this deal was from before.
Right.
But I do not believe him.
And it might have been set up before, but he had every chance to stop it. But he's like, I need the money or whatever.
But he didn't. Yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
Daddy had debts.
Yeah. And again, abusive people lie.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
Yeah. So she's very distraught about this, as you might imagine. Because it's not the first, but in a series of things that are breaking her hope, it seems, like that he's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
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 So Carrie finds her and takes her to her cabin, where there's like a series of gestures, and she seems to be indicating that, like, if it hadn't been Rufus doing this, then it would have been Margaret.
Yeah.
Right.
Margaret would have been running things, and she's an idiot. And everything and everyone would have been sold off instead. So,
yeah.
And she's talking about how basically no one likes her there anymore, and like she doesn't seem like she fits in. And there's like, I thought, a very touching scene where Carrie's like indicating to her that like her blackness doesn't wash off, like it doesn't change. So,
right.
No matter what you're doing here, you're still who you are. So
and she also makes the commentary that everyone there is a slave.
Right. Exactly.
Not just the actual enslaved people, but everyone there is a slave to the rules of the society.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Rufus makes her an offer after that to be his secretary. Like, Kevin told me that you're a writer, and I hate writing letters, so you can just do it. And she's like, I wish you realized how much I worked in my own time to not do this. I really don't want to do that, even for her own husband. So
right.
There are a couple of scenes where Dana and Alice are together working, and Rufus comes in drunk and is like, between the two of you, you make one whole woman.
Yep.
I'm like, yikes.
And that, like the... Again, like, just going back to the fact that, like, the two of them are having, like, exactly the same feelings at the same time. Like, the same complicated mix of...
Right.
Like I don't want this, but the alternative is fucking awful.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And then also, being hypocritical, judging people that are in the same situation you are. Maybe being a little bit angry about seeing somebody else in the same situation you're in, just because it's a reflection of your own, like, inability to do anything about your own situation.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah. And around this time, there's also like a corn shucking party.
Yeah.
When Alice and Dana are included in that, getting blisters and drinking whiskey, and mildly getting hit on.
Yeah.
By the people there. Rufus, like a middle manager at the office, like pops in to get compliments for all the food he supplied. Like, oh, thanks for the pizza, boss. Like,
exactly.
I really appreciate it. So cool.
Yeah. Yep. And I like they are like just as sarcastic about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like he's not there to hear all the crude jokes that make about him as soon as he's left, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's like you were saying, this is where Dana starts thinking like all of us have a really complicated relationship with this guy, like not just me.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
None of us want to be here. So Rufus asks her if she's interested in taking another husband, with Kevin being so far away. She's like, yeah, one's enough. And she's not really keen on the way he seems to like be regarding her in this situation.
Yeah.
Like, so like, what if I did want a husband, like one of the workers? He's like, well, I'd sell that person. She's like, oh shit. Okay.
Shit's starting to get weird.
It's very weird. This is the scene where Marty McFly's with his mom in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd probably have the order of these mixed up a little bit, but he tells her that Alice asked for him to free Joe, and to have Dana teach Joe to read as a Christmas present, and which she does. Dana tells Rufus that he's a quick learner, and that seems to be what makes him interested in like talking to his kid finally.
Yeah.
Oh, he's smart? Oh, okay. And starts hanging out with him more and talking to him.
Yeah.
Alice tells her one evening that as soon as this kid is born, she's running again. It's like, Dana's like, well, what if Rufus freed them all? And it's like, yeah, he lies and changes his mind all the time. And
Yeah.
Dana's like, okay, I'm going to help. So she's like, Alice is like, I need laudanum to keep the kid from crying.
Which, whoa.
I mean...
That was the option.
Fucking horrifying.
I mean... Yeah.
Well,
they didn't have Benadryl, so...
That was like, shit, was it MASH? Where they had that monologue?
I saw zero episodes of MASH. I can't help you here.
Maybe.
There was an episode of MASH where there's a monologue where the guy's talking about this lady, and like they were leading her through the jungle, but like she had to take her chicken with her, and like they just couldn't keep the chicken quiet,
right?
You know, so like they're like walking through the woods, like they gotta keep the chicken quiet. They have to keep the chicken quiet, but eventually they couldn't. So the guy had to like strangle the chicken.
Yeah.
And then you find out later that it wasn't a chicken that he was talking about.
Yeah.
Code word.
Yeah.
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 Awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
Awesome, guys.
Yep, these are things that happened.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yep. But, happy news, because Alice has her baby, and surprise, it's a girl.
Oh my god.
They name her Hagar. And Dana's like, fuck, finally.
Perfect. Yep.
God
I
damn,
can stop
okay.
doing this shit.
I'm halfway home. So yes. They note that she had Joe, Hagar, Miriam, and Aaron. And maybe one of my favorite quotes, she's like, someday Rufus is going to read enough of the Bible to understand this shit. And he's going to be really pissed. Yeah. Rufus tells Dana that he's thinking of sending Joe to school up north. And Alice is completely unimpressed. Like, yeah, when you read me the free papers, then I'll believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I still need that laudanum, which Dana does get for her a few days later, and at least convinces her to wait until summer to try to escape. And in the meantime, she even gets to teach some of the other kids. So
yeah.
So
things are temporarily looking up.
Right.
Temporarily.
Yeah. And it's not going to continue. Sad to spoil it for you guys, but it's about to get real dark.
Man.
So yeah, one day, I think Sam, if I'm reading my notes right, one of the guys who was at the corn party, who kind of hit on her, stops in to talk to her in the cookhouse. Like he's only there to ask her if she could teach his brother and sister as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, if Rufus says it's okay. But, just him going in to talk to her seems to be enough to Rufus to make good on his promise and sells him. Despite her pleading to not do that, so...
Because he's a terrible human at this point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
In fact, In fact, when she won't get back in the house, he smacks her, and that's enough to finally break an unspoken promise between them.
Yep.
So she goes right back in the cookhouse and slits her wrists. So the next chapter is the rope, and I immediately wrote, I don't like this title.
I don't like this one.
I don't like this title.
I don't
Not
like
at all.
It. Not if any of the other chapter titles have been any indication. So
Yeah.
Right?
yeah. So she wakes up in her own bed with her wrists bandaged up, and she's told that she missed her arteries and really only has scratches, even if her wrists are in a lot of pain. So this time she's back for like a full 15 days after having been gone for 3 hours.
Crazy.
And both her and Kevin spend some time trying to reacclimate to the 1970s and each other. Like, Kevin's like pretty sure she's not going back. Like, it's been more than a week this time, but she brings her go bag with her everywhere, all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Don't know for a while.
Yeah. And like,
I mean,
they have
I would imagine that she would carry that thing around for a long time after.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Until she knows she's not coming back.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because you just don't know.
I think she basically talks about, like, I'm not going to be sure until he's dead. Like,
yeah.
That I've seen him die, that he's not bringing me back. But, yeah, there's, like, some oblique discussions of, like, anything, like, untoward happened.
Yeah.
He's like, Kevin's like, I would have understood if something did. And she's like, you would have forgiven me for being raped? Like,
yeah, basically.
that's kind of fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, thinking if
it's just by the way, it's that kind of shit also that makes me really love Octavia Butler, because that again is like her own voice coming out.
Right.
And
yeah.
Like, just the kind of person she is.
Yeah. And again, with complex characters, like Kevin's like trying to say the right thing here. Like it would have. He's trying to say it would have been okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But he says it the wrong way. Like I would forgive you, as if she needed to be forgiven.
Like she needs it if she's attacked.
Right.
Like.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's thinking over like, or he's asking if she was thinking of killing Rufus if she ever went back, but she's not 100% sure she could even come back to the future if he had died. So,
Yeah.
So then they're having a party at the Rose Bowl, or for the Rose Bowl, and she's called back. And Rufus seems like really surprised to see her, and not in any immediate danger. So, like, what's going on here, Roof? And they know like he doesn't seem much older at all. So he leads her to the barn, where she sees Alice hanging from the same place that she had been whipped before. Like, she did this to herself, cuts her down, and closes her eyes, and then goes back to the cookhouse to talk to Sarah. Sarah's like, well, what did Rufus do this time? Like, yeah. She tells her that Alice hanged herself. Sarah's like, no, he did it. Like, he drove her to do it when he sold her babies away. So,
yep.
Carrie comes in with tears in her eyes and sends her to Rufus, who's in the library with a handgun. So that is apparently why she came back. She asked him, like, how could you sell your own kids? He's like, I didn't. Like, they're with my mom in Baltimore. So, when she ran away this time, I had to scare her somehow. So, scared her a little too much there, Roof.
Yep.
Yeah. Very heartbreaking. And I was glad I wasn't still reading in the Starbucks when I got to this point. Because it was tough. Yeah. So Dana demands, like, 2 certificates of freedom for both Joe and Hagar. And she tells him to, like, raise them free. Like, that's the fucking least you can do now.
Yep.
After driving their mom to kill herself. So.
Right.
So Rufus very numbly does just that, and brings the kids home, where he lets Dana tell them that their mom's dead. So
yeah,
really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Rufus wants her to go back to teaching them again. Like, they haven't had much time to forget. Like, you've only been gone 3 months this time, which seems weird that this time the time back home was longer and the different, but I guess there's not really any rules behind it.
Yeah, I mean, It doesn't really go linearly.
Right.
All of time has passed already, so she just gets called back in.
It makes no difference.
Inflection points, so it doesn't really matter.
It's still the past.
Yeah. It's all still happened already.
Yeah.
Or has it?
Or did it?
Because we'll talk about.
Well,
I have one thing.
You're just fulfilling it.
Okay.
I have one thing I want to bring up though.
Okay.
Okay. When should I remind you about it? At the end?
At the very end, yeah.
Okay. All right. Make a note. Okay. So yeah, she starts to suggest the idea of freeing more of the slaves. Like maybe you could free all of them in your will. And he's like, Dana, I'd have to be crazy to put that in my will and then tell you about it. She's like, why though? Oh, because I would kill you then. Right.
Yep.
Fair point. Like, I totally would.
At that point in the game.
Yeah. He confides in her that he used to have nightmares all the time about her coming back when he needed help and then just choosing to not help her. Or help him.
Yeah.
It's like, now that Alice is gone, they've come back. So...
What's good reason?
Yeah, and she's like, Rufus, you just keep doing shit that keeps me from trusting you, like selling someone away from his family because he talked to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, well, yeah, he wanted you. And she's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And she realizes a thing. And
yeah.
notices how there's no Alice now to take pressure off for him. So she's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go. And he's like, listen, my children could be your children, and like I wouldn't hurt you or anything. She's like, yeah, you wouldn't, not until you got mildly frustrated, like flew off the handle, like
like
yeah. She tells him like, I have someone waiting for me at home. And he's like, man, that Kevin, I wish I'd shot him before. And she's like, yeah, if you had, you'd be dead already.
Yeah.
And he's like saying to her like, you say that as if that means something to me. Again, lots of darkness.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, she threatens to leave him, like the one weapon she notes that Alice never had. And so he lets her go, but she knows it's only so long before he talks himself into it anyway, so... She goes up to the attic pallet and gets out the pocket knife she brought this time and opens it.
Yep.
Rufus comes in and is like, I'm really sorry, Dana. And she's wondering, like, for what you almost did or what you're about to do.
Right.
Yeah. He talks to her about the first time he had, in his words, forced Alice, gross.
Yeah.
And how he half expected her to, like, club him in the head with a candlestick when he fell asleep, which
would have been fair.
Totally fair. Yep. And then a hand closes on hers that she knows would be gentle and soft until she resisted. So,
Yep.
For a minute, she even kind of thinks that she could probably even endure this. But with Rufus, who he is, being erratic, generous, and vicious, like, I could accept him as a friend, but not as a master, and certainly not as a lover. So she stabs him in the side.
Yep.
And then in the back. And then she vomits on them both. Notices Nigel standing in the doorway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And then something impossibly hard is squeezing her arm, and we're back where we started with her arm stuck in a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it fuses with the plaster.
Yeah.
And all that.
Just
in the wall.
God damn. I wanna go to the description though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of her like pulling her arm out of the wall. I just want to read the one sentence. Yeah, she says, I pulled my arm toward me, pulled hard, and suddenly there was an avalanche of pain, red, impossible agony. And I screamed and screamed.
Yeah, like you
yeah.
Yeah.
But that phrasing, red, impossible agony, I feel like was just so descriptive.
Yeah.
Of, you know, what it would be like if your arm was like part of the wall and you tried to pull it out.
Right.
Yeah.
The kind, like you were saying, the kind of Lovecraftian type of pain that you can't even imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, she suffers in this book is what we're saying. Like, a lot.
Yeah. Right.
More ways than we can even comprehend.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, yeah. So the epilogue, right? So Dana and Kevin fly to Baltimore, and they do some research, but they don't really find Rufus's house, nor a grave.
Right.
But they do
It's just
find...
a field now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In the woods, basically. They find an article about Rufus dying when his house burned down. He was only 25. And they find a listing of the sale of slaves from his place that included everyone except for Nigel, Carrie, and Joe and Hagar.
Right.
So she assumes that Margaret took the kids in, either as servants or since they were her grandkids. And that Nigel did a really good job in covering her tracks, burning down the place.
Yeah.
Yep. And like the final quote they sign off with is like, if we told anyone about this, they would think we weren't sane. Like, but we are. And now that the boy is dead, we have a chance of staying that way.
This is how Dracula ended, too.
Yeah. Well, almost exactly the same.
Everyone will think we're insane.
But we have these diaries.
These diaries.
Right.
So, oh my god.
Dictaphone recordings.
Yep.
Yeah, so the thing that I wanted to come back to, talking about the time travel aspect of this.
Yeah.
They died earlier than they would have without her intervention, is what I got from this.
Yeah.
Alice and Rufus. Because they were supposed to have 2 more kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, did you mention that before?
It was mentioned that Miriam and another one, because she had the family Bible that had the family tree that had the names.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up real quick. It's in the fire where she talks about the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Bible, blah blah blah. Grandma Hagar, born in 1831. Given her parents' names as Rufus Whelan and Alice Green something. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably right here and I'm missing it, but... Anyway, I'll take your word for it.
I don't know now. But yeah, anyway,
no, I need a dragon tattoo style tree. That's what I needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she certainly precipitated Alice trying to escape again, which led to her killing herself, and because of that, like, accelerated Rufus dying. So
yeah, let's see.
Time out for research.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other Chris is scanning the microfiche right now.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this thing. It was mentioned where they mentioned the religious theme of the names of the children.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
She mentioned that they're named Aaron, Miriam, Joseph, and Hagar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since they were all slaves that were eventually freed.
Yeah, but
which we did bring up, but by the end of the section where they're both dead, Alice and Rufus, only Joseph and Hagar had been born.
Well, no, they had. She had 2 that had died.
Yeah, weren't those ones that had died shortly after childbirth?
Yeah, but I guess they didn't initially.
I don't think they ever specifically said, but she said Alice had 2 kids. Or 3
She had
kids.
2, and they didn't name them, and then she named them later. Okay.
That could be.
Okay.
That could be.
Thank you, sir. I have figured this out.
We got there. We did it, guys.
Yes.
Yes.
We did it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Any final thoughts about this book? Except that, once again, like, you should just read this shit. Like,
yeah, like, everybody should read it.
Everybody.
And read more Octavia Butler as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's definitely needs to permeate our society more than she does.
Yep.
Yeah,
she has a voice.
Yeah. I started reading Parable of the Sower after this. I'm about a quarter of the way through now, but...
that one is... I've only read the graphic novel. That was tough.
interesting, but it's very different voice than this one. Like
it is.
That one is written like in a diary type thing, but it takes place next year, which I like.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's once again proving how like prescient she was about how people.
Oh my god!
Like,
well, stuff she'd seen throughout the whole '80s.
Yeah,
About it. Like it's like okay, this is actually coming true.
Yeah, like so many cases in sci-fi like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, you read that and you think about like when she wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh. All of this is still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
That's why there's been like upticks in people reading it and like, well, yeah, you should.
Yeah.
It's kind of prophetic in that regards, but it also still does what it should and lays out. It's like, yeah, shit can get really bad and collapse, but you got to have some hope and get through it and change things so you can survive.
Yeah.
Right.
And thrive, not just survive, but eventually thrive again. So
and like the central theme, like people that do what they have to do to survive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But eventually, you got to have more than just that.
Yeah. Eventually, you got to stab the guy in the side.
That's right.
Yep.
And then you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right. He's finally gone too far. Jeez, yeah. So yeah. To its credit, like very dark and difficult to read, but like I will read this again. Like I don't have any desire to see like Requiem for a Dream ever again in my whole life.
Yeah.
Or Schindler's List, but this one I'll read again. Like it's just so good. So
it is.
I'm wondering how the show could possibly live up to it, but
I don't know. We'll find
I guess
out.
we're gonna have to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not heard much of anything about it at all, so I don't know.
I feel like you might be the first people to watch it. I don't know.
I'm
That's what I feel like too.
Still pretty sad about it that I like barely heard anything about it.
Yeah.
I saw like one YouTube ad before it came out, and that was it.
Yeah. Like there was a big fanfare a couple years ago about them finally adapting.
Yeah.
Something important of her work into a popular culture thing.
Yeah.
That was like the one thing I saw looking back at it to see if it had been renewed yet is people talking about, I hope it does good because I want more of her stuff to be adapted. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Same.
So,
she has so many good stories that even if this doesn't hit home for everybody, like there's so much that could.
Yeah.
So they should keep making stuff out of her works.
So now we got to watch this show.
We do. What's it on again? Is it on Hulu or something?
Hulu, which I think still has free options if you don't have an account, but you have to watch commercials. So
I have it. I've had it for years.
And I'm going to ask if you guys have anything else that's good.
I started playing Elden Ring again.
You restarted it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Mike came over and showed me where to find like a big beating club.
Oh yeah. For Bonk.
Yeah. So I just have been running around bashing people.
That's a legitimate way to play it.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
Nice.
But I still like doing the sneak up backstabby thing, even though I'm using a club.
Well, you do get more damage that way, so it's still good.
Yeah.
Have you gone through any of the bosses yet, or just kind of wandering?
No, I'm just messing around.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, there's plenty of messing to do.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. Like, side note, on the PlayStation app, they have something called PlayStation Stars or whatever. Is like a way you can earn points that you can get rewards and stuff for doing shit, like challenges.
Yeah.
And so they had one recently that's like, play Demon Souls. Like, I have that game.
Yeah.
I haven't played it in a while, but I'll go play it. So it had to reinstall and had to download. It had to update my guy.
Yeah.
It took like half of an hour while I was playing something else.
Yeah.
Loaded up my save. I'm like, oh, I remember where I was. I was going to go fight this guy after I go through the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Walked around a corner, and the first enemy killed me, and I uninstalled the game. Never again.
Yeah.
I got my points, I'm out. I don't know what they're going to be good for, but I have my points on fucking PlayStation Stars.
There you go. That's all that matters.
All that matters. Yeah. So I've been playing Last of Us, trying to keep ahead of the show because I convinced Danielle to watch that.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah,
like this is me catching up like 6 years after it came out. Like, by the way, guys, this one like critically acclaimed and like well loved game is really good. But that also has the kind of mechanic where you can sneak up and murder people that way.
Yeah,
which is easier, but just like any stealth game, like I try that for a couple of guys, and then someone I didn't see sees me, and I'm like, all right, well, get the gun out.
Screw it, whatever.
Get the gun.
Just
Guy's got like 6 guns on him. They want you to use them.
Yeah, like that's how it ends up when I play like Metal Gear, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I'm sneaking around. I'm like trying to play the game as as it was intended, I guess.
Right.
Like trying to take out guys one at a time, and then eventually it just turns into like Grand Theft Auto.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like the entire military base is looking for you, and you're like, whatever, like plink, plink, plink. Like just taking out every single dude they throw at you.
Yep. And smoking a cigarette while you do.
Yeah.
Because it looks cool.
Maybe like tossing some grenades, just like the entire base is exploding.
Right.
Like, I thought this was supposed to be a stealth mission.
It was.
Whatever.
Maybe. It's fine.
I gotta run around and get everyone's dog tags, though. Hang on.
Right. Exactly. So, yes, Danielle is guessing all of the twists before they happen, though. So I'm like, she's like, oh, she's immune or something. I'm like, I don't know. Guess we're gonna find out. Is this character in the show much longer? Like, I don't know. Gotta wait and see.
Well, Mike made the comment that the creator got what they always wanted, and they're making a TV show.
Yeah.
That like, basically, the video game isn't much of a video game. That it's like very.
There's a lot of like. It's weird how all these buildings are so interconnected in a path that you go through.
Yeah.
But it's basically like, we can't just throw you right into the next cutscene, so you gotta go murder some guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You shoot some things, and then you see some stuff, and then you shoot some things.
Then there's a sniper.
Yeah.
Then characters kill themselves because of heartbreak and stuff, but
Ooh.
Whatever.
The usual things.
The usual.
Yeah.
So, I know Chris isn't back yet, but I'll tell you my thing that's good while we're waiting for him.
Yeah.
So first of all, Patrick H. Willems, that guy you introduced me to on YouTube, had a video, I guess, last week about, like, basically an intro to movie analysis that he put out, like, how to analyze and, like, interpret movies. Was like originally intended for his like Nebula account, I guess, for more of a lecture than a video essay.
Yeah.
Just talking through all the different ways you can analyze movies, like, lens choice and color grading and soundtracks and sound effects and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Basically, his point being that like everything that happens in a movie is a conscious choice.
Exactly.
On one level or another, so you can always just ask why they did that.
Yeah.
But the thing that puts it over the top for me, because it's all good info, but he uses as the example for everything Home Alone.
Uh-huh.
And how that's actually a pretty well-made movie. Like,
down
to choices of, like, the color palettes for the house and, like, Kevin's mom, like, being representative.
Yeah.
And when they're in Paris, it's, like, super cold and blues and grays and uncolorful.
Yeah.
And, like, John Candy's character also has the warm colors on his outfit because he's, like, going to return her home. And, like, oh, shit, yeah, I guess that is a fair point. And, like, talking through, like, the choice that, noted musician guy John Williams makes in the soundtrack about, like, calling back to Peter and the Wolf.
Yeah.
Another story about a kid who has to fend for themselves. Like,
yeah.
This is really good and totally worth your time, but I just loved how he kept coming back. He's like, and this reminds me of Home Alone. Like, so, it's great. You should watch it. The other thing I was going to bring up is a show that the algorithm delivered to me.
Uh-huh.
Like, something I guess I saw on TikTok, clips of this show called Actually.
Yeah.
which is I gather a show that used to be on College Humor and then was on Dropout, which I guess is like their Netflix. I don't know, but
yeah,
it's a trivia show, kind of like Jeopardy, and the whole point is that the guy will make a statement about something from pop culture.
Yeah.
That you have to be like, actually, that's not right. It's this other thing, and that's how you get points.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And of course, it's like College Humor people, so it's funny. But
yeah,
the kind of thing I'm thinking of is they're like talking about. There was an episode about Saturday morning cartoons, and they were talking about Teddy Ruxpin, like going through like Teddy Ruxpin and his like weird caterpillar friend Grubby and whatever. He's like a bear on this planet, and they do story time or whatever. And the thing that was wrong is that Teddy Ruxpin's not a bear; he's actually an alien called this other thing. So that's the kind of thing you have to ring in and be like, yeah, that never happened. So,
oh my god.
So the thing that I think puts it over the top for me though is like there doesn't seem to be any qualification for the people to be on this show. Like you don't have to necessarily know about this shit.
Yeah.
And so more times than not,
most of the answers are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
well, most of the times he's like, I mean, you got the part of the sentence that's wrong, even if you don't have the right answer. So I guess you get the point. Or like,
yeah.
Half of the time they're like, no one gets this point. We're just moving on. Like nobody knew what random shit I was talking about. But
yeah.
In particular, I'd recommend to watch the horror movie episodes.
Okay.
Because they are like the most team focused. Like even though they're competing, like they're all really trying to support each other and really happy when anyone gets something right.
Yeah.
And like those in particular, I thought were really good. So
okay.
Skip over the Pokemon one though, because they don't know anything about Pokemon.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity if they don't know anything about it.
Yeah. So I've been watching a lot of those the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I guess you can go on Dropout and get new episodes, but they're also on YouTube. So there's like years worth of content there. So
nice.
You don't have to pay them any money. You can just watch it for free.
Oh my god.
So yeah, worth a watch. Chris, welcome back.
Thank you.
Did you have anything else that was good?
I mean, I'm still doing my, as you guys hear about when I get stuff, my ancestors' journey here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So trying to work that out. I've got most of the documents that were fairly easy to get. I'm waiting on my great-grandfather's death certificate. But then I've hit the, like I told you guys, the time roadblocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I emailed the Archdiocese of Omaha. Haven't heard back from them yet, though.
Yeah.
See if they can help me find, like, his baptismal record, because I don't think he has a birth certificate. And even if he did, Nebraska's like, yeah, we don't have any of that shit from before 1904. So, and I'm like, well, he was born in 1891, so there we go.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess it's coming along as easily as this stuff can. I didn't really think about, like, trying to get records for people from the 19th century is
right.
harder than I feel it should be, because I guess in Luxembourg they have these.
Yeah.
I don't know how they have them, and we don't, but, like, most of the states
there's
I've
fewer
learned...
people to keep track of.
Yeah. And I've also, like, Europe, like, we just didn't... we didn't keep those records until the early 20th century.
Yeah, they were just a place longer.
Yeah, and you didn't need them, and even there we have to go back. Like Luxembourg has a thing. I've seen a picture, a screen share. Someone said it was called like LuxNet or something. Like they digitized all their records, but because it's small, you can do that.
Yeah.
Like because all these actual records are in like old church shit and things like that. But
yeah,
right.
It's just harder here.
They did that in Iceland, right?
Yeah.
Where they essentially did like a big family tree of the entire country.
Oh, yeah. Which you can do because it's Iceland.
Yeah, because, because it's such a small population, they actually have to worry about inbreeding.
Right. Yeah.
And so the
Amish do that too. They have someone that's kept all their records for the same reasons.
Are they the ones that have the app that you can check? Like if you're going to start dating?
I think so.
Yeah, in Iceland, I'm pretty sure they have an app, yeah.
Like, oh good.
Which,
we're
if
only
I
third cousins.
Yeah,
can get all this done, then I can go live in Iceland, because even though they're not in EU proper, they are part of the European Economic Area, so you can have the same mobility rights.
All new genes to that pool.
I could, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. But yeah, so I've been working on that a lot.
You'd have to learn Icelandic though. And
I would. That's the problem.
Very difficult.
Yeah, I mean they all speak English, but a lot of people speak English in Luxembourg too. But I've been learning like it's really hard to get a job there if I'm not in finance if I don't speak French.
Yeah.
Like fluently, and I'm like, oh, French.
Like,
I don't want to do French.
French isn't that bad.
It's just never interested me. I know, but it's never been a language I've been interested in, so it's going to be a slog to try to learn it.
Yeah, well,
I don't have to be like.
It
depends on what I want to do. But that's the thing. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. It'd be conceivably be a few years down the road.
Yeah.
And like the easiest thing I can think of is to keep doing teaching.
Yeah.
Because I found a couple schools there. They're international schools. So one's like, oh, we want teachers with 5 years experience, and the other one's like, oh, we'll take teachers with 2.
Yeah. So
I'm like, if I'm going to live there, like that might be the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I want to, it's kind of selfish, but like, so I'll get a social security number, but because I don't live there, it's not considered active for healthcare because I've never paid into their system because I haven't worked there. So I have to work there to do that. But I'm like, again, unless I'm in finance, it's hard to get a job there if you don't speak at least also French.
Yeah.
They're not so concerned about Luxembourgish, which is the one I'd want to put my efforts into.
Luxembourgian?
Luxembourgish. It's...
Luxembourgese?
So it's one of the Moselle dialects.
Yeah.
Well, can't really say, they don't really say it's German anymore, but it came out of that.
Germanic.
So
tradition.
it's close to what they speak like right next door in that part of Germany and stuff too.
Yeah.
But it comes out of Moselle Franconian grouping. So there's similarities and then differences. Like that's the one I want to put my interest into, but nope, I have to do French if I want to have any kind of job that's not finance. Like even getting a job at like their equivalent of the grocery store, I'd have to know French.
Well, yeah.
So I'm like, but you guys aren't French. They're like, yeah, we know, but
come say hi.
It's what we use.
I'm not dressed.
I'm not dressed.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
He's got to go.
Okay.
Kids are leaving.
Mom says I gotta go.
The kids are leaving. They gotta go. They gotta go.
But
not to cut you short. But.
That's what I've been focusing on is getting that done, trying to get those harder documents, as many of them as I can, and then I just gotta wait for my birth certificate to come from California, and I can ship it all off.
Seems like that'd be the easiest part.
It's not. It's the one that's the longest. Like they just processed my order last week. They're like, yeah, we just processed your order from like a week and a half ago. So yeah, we're not going to get that in the mail until March 30th.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, all right, and like they're like, some states are like that, but they're like, or if you pay us $20, we'll bump you to the head of the line. I'm like, all right,
yeah.
So that's what I do, but California doesn't have that option.
Yeah,
right.
So they're like, yeah, it's going to be a while. I'm like,
them and their democracy.
Yeah, I'm like, I paid you money for this. Yet you can't go any faster. Okay.
Nope. That's not what they do.
This
is a run out the clock situation, Chris.
So that gives me time. I have to get in touch with South Dakota. I do have a letter for them, hopefully, that I can use too, but I'm like, where do I send that? And that's trying to be like, hey, can you give me as official a looking death record for my great-great-grandfather as possible? Yeah. It's like, I understand your rules say I can't have one for some reason, even though I can show you that we're related. Mm-hmm. But they're like, nope, grandchild. I'm like, well, but it might be like so Minnesota's form for that, like, says just grandchild, but they mean also great-grandchild. Because I even called to verify. I'm like, it tells me on your website from your Department of Health that I can order this form for this guy, but on the form itself, that's not an option, which is why I couldn't order it through Vital Check. They're like, just check it. You're fine. I'm like, oh, okay. So for all I know, South Dakota will be like that too. They'll be like, just check it. We don't give a shit. You're not trying to use this for like legal or nefarious purposes for anything. So go ahead. Yeah. We'll just pretend that somebody born in 1983 is only the grandchild of somebody born in 1848. So
it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah. Fun.
But that's what I'm doing for the most part.
On that.
Yes.
Thanks. Nice.
All right. Well, Mom says I gotta go, so I gotta go. I gotta go home.
All right. Gotta go play with the other kids.
Okay, that was our session for today. Homework for next time is to watch all of the TV show Kindred, which, at the time of this recording, is still available on Hulu, but if you haven't watched it yet, with the way things are going, you better fucking go right now. Again, this episode is going a bit longer than we intended, so a summary version of On Second Thoughts. I wish we had gotten a bit more into discussing what Octavia Butler was trying to say with having Dana be called out of her normal, established life, being pulled out of time and space, and having to make sure some random plantation owner didn't accidentally kill himself. About how escaping from that situation left her literally hobbled and handicapped, and with severe PTSD. I don't know, maybe all that was implied, but if you're looking for potential paper topics, I feel like that'd be a good one to explore. Today's episode spent 5 years on its own trapped in the past, with Chris Ham, other Chris Jacobson. It was edited by me, Travis Rowe, and was sponsored by no one in particular. Until next time, keep fucking reading. Kindred, the musical.
God, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
No, it'd be great, like Les Miserables.
Oh my God.
It'd be so good you wouldn't even pronounce the bull.
That has always bothered me so much.
Yeah.